A Jezebel spirit is trying to infiltrate my soul.
She's a woman who dares to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Okay, so you guys know how being petty is like my spiritual gift, right?
And Father, I confess the hatred in my heart for Tucker Carlson.
Welcome to a new segment I'm calling That's Not Biblical.
Right? Follow me for more tips on how to be petty while you're doing the Lord's work.
It's a great day for snarky heretics because...
Thank you for your contribution, man. Now...
Thank you, Max, for that marvelous introduction. I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. You can't stop the things I do. I lie. No! Don't listen to them! Been 300 years. Right down to the day. Now the witch is back, and there's hell to pay. I put a spell on you.
Good joke. Happy Halloween. No, man, I'm serious. You got your head in your lunch. Yeah, let's go, guys.
Boo! Can you leave a beer?
I just realized I'm like, I don't know what to say.
I actually clip from Hocus Pocus.
I'm a little bit like, man, we should not have shown the actual people and then all of our costumes.
I know. We're like a poor man's Hocus Pocus, but that's totally okay. Hi everybody. We should have just our names on here should have totally been their names.
Dang it.
Well,
hello, I'm Sarah.
Like hi, I'm Mary. Just go like this the whole night. I can only do that for so long because that's exhausting.
Rita, where's your hairpiece you worked so hard on?
You have to show everybody.
So I do have to show everybody this because everybody knows like how her hair is, right? So I might have made this thing to wear and it's so big and it kept falling and I just started panicking and so I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna wear the cape over my head. But did I make this? Did I buy a wig to make that?
I did. Impressive.
Thanks. There's a solo cup under that. That's what this is. It's a solo cup and some floral wire, but it's fine. It's fine. I took the easy way out. Hi everybody. Hope everybody's doing awesome and that they've had a fun Halloween so far. You two both went trick-or-treating, right?
Yes, with my children.
It would be so weird if you went without your children.
Would it though?
Trick-or-treating?
Yeah,
yes.
I know, I would.
Literally. Oh, they're talking about your eyes, April. Yeah.
Yeah, it's color contacts. I probably will take them out before the show's over because they're already drying out my eyes, but
and I will probably take these lashes off. We just talked about that. So we may not look like this.
Amok.
No, amok. No. You guys, everyone on here, I need everyone in the comments to tell. April doesn't remember much about
It's been a good 15, 20 years since I've seen Hocus Pocus.
How?
You have to say it like this. Amok. She like jumps. She's basically a
amok.
There you go.
Did you switch mics, Abby?
No.
Abby hates me because they're always talking about audio over here. Listen, speaking of audio, I did think I want everyone to listen to the podcast, but this is probably the wrong episode to not watch. Like, even if you're not watching it live and you're starting to listen to the podcast, you need to go back to
Yeah, there's so many visuals.
My
eyes are popping.
Absolutely.
I have a sparkly green potion that I'm trying to.
We're
and
gonna
you've
show
got
y'all
green
some
lights in the
pictures.
background too.
Yeah, she's
got a whole like mood thing going.
She's very spooky.
You like naturally have the hair.
It's very true. That is why I got to be Winifred.
It's just by default. I've actually been her before, but that's okay because mine was a wig and your hair is just built in. It's amazing. Abby, what's in your drink? They want to know.
My drink is definitely not tequila and food coloring.
Ooh,
Straight tequila and food coloring?
1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila, 4.
What? Tequila?
Tequila.
I know. Whatever. I'm tired. The
No,
World
but is
Series
it-
is also on that I'm missing.
Oh my gosh, we are
Be
busy
here.
talking about costumes.
I know.
Dang.
But you never answer. Is it legitimately just tequila and food coloring?
It's White Claw and tequila and a little bit of food coloring. And a little bit of edible like shimmer powder. That's why it's shimmering.
powder.
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
Nice.
We just put it in random drinks because it's like, how could we make this lemonade feel fancy?
Very.
Mm.
Do you want to hear how basic I was today? So
Yeah.
Mhm.
when I was at this brewery today, finishing my engagement session with my client, they brought back my favorite beer, which is like a pumpkin spice latte coffee
Mm.
beer, is what it is.
Ew.
And it's a coffee blonde, which is a beer anyway. So that's a delicious beer anyway. And in the fall, they come out with their PSL version of it. And so I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be super basic today and drink a PSL craft beer because
I'm disgusted.
it's delicious, everyone. Don't listen. Don't listen.
Well, I'm drinking sparkling water.
Boo.
Aha!
A muck, a muck, a muck.
A muck, a muck, a muck. Am I getting better? A muck,
Mhm.
a muck, a muck.
Okay, let's talk about, because this specific holiday, so complicated for those of us in the evangelical church, and y'all were pastors' kids. So I'm interested to hear if that was different for you. My parents were very lax compared to like some of the other evangelical parents. Like we were allowed to dress up and all of that, but we couldn't be anything evil. That was like my mom's only.
Mm-hmm.
But we went trick-or-treating. We went to Halloween parties. We listened to we went to haunted houses and watched scary movies. Were you guys into all of that?
I was not allowed to watch scary movies, anything demonic, unless it was like a Bible movie. Like actual like biblical demons were fine, I guess.
Biblical demons.
And we went to Hallelujah Night every year, which was our Halloween church festival. So it was costumes and candy and games and stuff. And it was actually a lot of fun. But then we would come back and it usually would be dark and then we would go trick-or-treating. So my parents were pretty chill and they let us trick-or-treat. But there were a lot of other Christian families in the church that were like anti all Halloween, like didn't even like that the church did their own version of it. But like I would never have been allowed to dress up like a witch. Like I could have never done this costume growing up.
Really?
Abstain from the appearance of evil. So
We were always like really happy things. Like I was
like-
Dorothy
Okay.
from Wizard of Oz.
Well,
that's magic. But
like I was not. So for just a quick example, I wanted when the Spice Girls were really big. I really wanted to go as the Spice Girls. Was not allowed to go as the Spice Girls. It was my parents didn't want me to, but also like the children's pastor was like, I heard you going as the Spice Girls. So me and my friends literally made up an entire band called the Mission Girls. And we dressed just like the Spice Girls and we had the same nicknames. Instead of like Sporty Spice, I was Mission Girl Sportsy. And we would like sing Point of Grace covers in kids' church
Obviously.
to make it seem like a legit band. And
Obviously.
I literally got a talking to from the children's pastor. He's like, I heard you going as the Spice Girls. Like, no. We're going as the Mission Girls. He's like, that's not a real band.
Maybe
It's like,
you've
yes,
never
it
heard of
is.
us.
It's my band.
We're
Like,
really
what are you singing? It was like Point of Grease cassette cover tracks. Anyway, so I got to go as the Mission Girls, but I was not allowed to go as the Spice Girls because they were too worldly.
Oh, that's so funny.
Abby, what about you?
So my parents didn't have a problem with trick-or-treating. Having kids now myself, I think about it a lot and I'm like, ooh, not only did they not have a problem with trick-or-treating, they went hard the opposite direction in the sense of we would go and be gone for hours and like we would walk the entirety of the town. We would come home at like 10 o'clock at night. But they did have weird rules about like what we could dress up as and when I went to a private Christian school for a while and when they started doing like they called it Fall Fest. And so when they started doing Fall Fest on Halloween, we couldn't trick or treat anymore. And we had to like follow the school's rules about what characters we could be. So I usually ended up being a Bible character.
As we're going to see here shortly when we look at
Okay, well, that's just unnecessary. But we couldn't watch scary movies. I was in like the 8th grade, I think, and it was my first year of public school. And my best friend was like, let's watch Candyman. And I was like, yeah, cool, sure. And my little brother tried to watch it with us. I got grounded for a month. And we didn't even get to anything scary.
I hate still to like to this day, I hate scary movies. Like the thought of them makes me a little can't do it.
So have y'all seen Midnight Mass?
No, I need to. I would like to. Do you think I could do it?
I don't really like horror. The first few episodes are, I would say it's more creepy and unsettling than like straight scary. It's not straight horror, but it's one of those things where like it's the unknown that's scary, and they reveal they reveal what the mystery is of like what is happening. Either episode 3 or 4. And once you know what it is, it's way less scary. But it is such a like poignant, like just tell on religion in general, and highly
which I do love. I love that.
Yes. Did you see it, Abby?
I haven't seen it, but a lot of people have told me to watch it. When I posted the TikTok about the Trump prophecy, a lot of people referenced Midnight Mass. They were like, oh, if Midnight Mass weren't good. It was one of the most common comments I got.
Yeah, for those who have seen Midnight Mass, Bev Keene's like the character that is the priest's assistant, like she works for the Catholic Church, and someone, I can't remember their name, tagged me in a story because I recommended it on Evangelical last week, and they said, oh, Bev Keene is 100% a Trump supporter. I was like, absolutely, she is a Trump supporter. So
that's
if
funny.
You just look out for her.
What's the scariest movie you've ever seen?
Me?
Both of you. Yes. Hi, this is a podcast. I don't know if you know. There are people waiting to hear your answers.
Hold on, time out. I do this. Listen, I loved Plus One so much.
Same.
I loved them because I was like, we finally have a boy band. Like we've
1+1. Oh, that's a different fake boy band. Sorry.
I can't remember for the life of me what songs they sang. They had one song that was a very obscure song. It was like song 6 on the album. Like it wasn't even on the radio.
I've never heard of whoever we're talking about right
You
now.
have never heard of Plus One? They were like the Christian NSYNC or Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by the time I was in 8th grade, I was listening to Insane Clown Posse, and I was completely off the like Christian stuff. So.
Okay, but I was allowed to listen to NSYNC, and I still loved me some Plus One.
No. I didn't say NSYNC. Insane Clown Posse. We're very.
Oh, I thought you said NSYNC. Sorry.
No.
I take that back. I'm embarrassed. I'm gonna
die. they're very different.
Okay. Anyway, the scariest movie I've ever seen. I mean, I went to scary movies in high school because I didn't want like my friends to think I was stupid. But I'd like go to the bathroom several times. I'm like, oh, you're right back. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom.
I thought you had a bladder problem or something.
Yeah, so I've seen bits.
Man, Rachel always has such a hard time at movies holding her slushie.
When we were in high school, that was when it was like, I Know You Did Last Summer and Scream. Like all of those were coming out, so I would go see them, and I hated every second of them. Every second of them.
Amanda, yes, I did listen to ICP. I still know all of the words to the Great Malenko album.
Wowzers.
Like I've never seen Saw, any of the like that. I would never watch that kind of stuff.
I do draw a line at like torture horror, like Saw and those. Like I have zero desire in watching that. Like that sounds terrible.
No.
So what's the scariest movie you've ever seen then, April?
Probably The Descent. I don't know if y'all.
Yeah, that's
I don't even know what that is.
It's like it's a stupid premise. Like I was so pissed at the end of the movie because I was like, there's no way that these people would do this. But because they did, I was terrified for weeks. And anyway, it's about these girls, these like British, I think they're British. Anyway, they go kerplunking.
Kerplunking?
Like cave diving.
Spelunking.
Is it called like kerplunking when you like go down?
Spelunking. Spelunking.
What is kerplunking then?
Kerplunk is the game. It's like a tube
literally a
with
game.
sticks in the middle and marbles, and when you pull the sticks, the marbles kerplunk to the bottom.
Okay, so they go. Okay, Anyway,
You're really leaning into that costume, aren't you? You're really like
Kerplunking.
Oh my god.
this character.
Waka, waka. Yeah.
What?
No. Did you say waka?
What did she say? A monka.
Amok. Like we're bringing amok.
Whatever.
Amok. Oh my gosh.
So they go spelunking. Spelunking.
Spelunking.
Hi, Joseph.
They go spelunking or kerplunking, whatever you want to call.
Oh my gosh.
I promise you, it's terrifying. They go down to these caves, and they're like, they set up like anyone that's gone down there has never come out alive. And they're like, oh, we can do it. And these people, there's like one girl that actually is like a professional cave person, and all the rest are like, have never done it before. And they think like this, like the hardest one ever where people don't come out would be fun. So anyway, they go down there, and there's these like really creepy, like blind, they are blind, which is part of the plot because it's all dark. So it doesn't matter. Like you can't see anyway. And like everything goes wrong. They accidentally kill each other with like weapons that they brought down with like snipper snappers. And anyway, it's terrifying. But the problem is like it has a terrible ending. Like no one survives. They're just stuck in these caves. It's super claustrophobic, and there's these monsters down there that eat them. Like spoiler alert, I guess I should have said if you're gonna watch The Descent. But it is terrible.
If you're gonna watch Kerplunk, spoiler alert.
You're watching people go kerplunking.
I'm making it sound so stupid, but it really is terrifying. Anyway, I
have a deep and abiding love of terrible horror movies, like deep and abiding love of terror. My favorite horror movie, it's actually one of my favorite bad movies. It is a movie called I Know Who Killed Me. And if you know, then you know. And if you don't know, then let me tell you, because Lindsay Lohan plays Shamalahama. Hi, Marsha. Lindsay Lohan plays one half of a set of twins separated at birth yet again. And that's about the end of it making sense. Not a single part of it makes any bit of sense. And it's still somehow amazing.
Okay. I feel like I have given The Descent a very bad name. And I want you guys to know that it is genuinely terrifying. Yeah, everyone's making fun of me.
We believe you.
Actually scary.
Very scared of snipper snappers.
I think you just lost us with the kerplunking. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. Another movie that was really terrifying was The Conjuring.
Another movie that was really funny was Swim Fan.
Swim Fan.
That's a horror movie. You've never seen Swim Fan? Oh my God.
No. I'm not watching horror movies ever.
Yeah, but these are so bad, I don't think they technically count.
Okay, so fun fact, if my sister listens to this, she's going to be like,
really sad fact.
My dad took us to go see this movie. I was maybe like 5 or 6 years old, and it's obviously supposed to be a comedy, but like I couldn't sleep in my own bed for like nights. It was Ernest Scared Stupid. Do you remember the Ernest movies?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh my gosh,
scared you?
I was like terrified.
So Rachel Scared Stupid?
Yeah, it was seriously the worst. If the monsters touched you, you turned into like a statue or something, right? I was terrified forever.
Wow.
So even if you think, Abby, it's a stupid horror movie, I'm not a candidate. I will literally.
Okay, but can I just tell you, listen to me. I Know Who Killed Me. Twins separated at birth. One is adopted by a lovely couple. Actually, technically, they steal her. One grows up to be an amputee stripper.
Of course, obviously.
And the one from the good home is murdered, and the amputee stripper can visualize it happening to her. And then at the end, they both die. But they just like lay down and die. This movie is 20 years old. They've defeated the bad guy, and then they just lay down and die. And it was Lindsay Lohan was trying to be like super cool. It was not good. Somebody just said in here, oh dang it, how do I go back upwards? Oh, there we go. Orphan is another one that I actually really love. I think Orphan is a great scary movie.
No,
my gosh,
talking about all of these,
off the makeup,
probably sleeping with the light on tonight.
I really want to see Jennifer's Body, because Jennifer's Body is a horror movie that's actually a social commentary, and I do appreciate those.
Ooh.
Wait, can I answer the scariest one I've ever seen?
Follows?
Yeah.
It Follows was a good social commentary. It was like
so the scariest horror movie I've ever seen was The Devil's Rejects. Have you guys
Nope.
Are you familiar? Oh, House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, or Rob Zombie's horror movies. And they are everything you would anticipate from a Rob Zombie horror movie. Don't ever watch them. And super don't watch them when you're 19 and just ate an entire pan of pot brownies.
Just in case y'all needed to know. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. It's a bad idea.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah,
watch
don't be
with
19.
pot
Yeah, there we go.
brownies. Yeah.
19.
And
Yeah.
be 19.
And be 19, even though I'd love to be 19. Maybe.
Brian, Rob Zombie does have a twisted mind. Those movies are so fucked up.
Emily, I can't even do that. I watched one clip of The Quiet Place on TikTok and I got
Quiet
scared.
Place
I'm
was
like, yeah,
so
I'm not.
good.
No, I can't watch anything like that. Nothing. This is why I spend most of my time watching Real Housewives.
Or the
Never scared.
Kardashians.
I
Or the
mean,
Kardashians.
did you watch The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix?
No, I just a compilation of the gay shit on YouTube.
The gay stuff. There's gay stuff in Hill House?
Yeah, babe. It's like a central plot point.
I know one of the characters is gay.
Yeah. Her and the gardener.
I just didn't know there was enough to be like a compilation of gay stuff.
Listen, queer people are desperate. We'll make a compilation out of anything. Like, did those two characters, I'm not even joking. Did those two characters look at each other? We ship it.
I love it. I love it.
Well, anyway, the same writer-director of Hill House did Midnight Mass.
Oh, cool.
So it's very
See,
good.
I don't think I can do it. Can't.
Really?
No.
Midnight Mass is
Did
really,
you?
it's more
But
of
Rachel,
a
you
thriller
liked
than scary.
clickbait.
I did. That wasn't scary.
But I feel like The Haunting of Hill House and clickbait have. Oh, that's The Haunting of Bly Manor. Thank you, Joseph. Apparently, no, I have not watched Hill House.
I was like, there is a character that's gay, but I don't remember like a
April's
ton
like,
of gay
what?
stuff.
I promise you, that's not.
But look, somebody else said I can attest to our compilations. We will take any two characters and be like, you guys are together. You guys are together now.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of scary things, April, do you want to ask everybody if they've heard of the phenomenon that is
The Hell House.
Hell
I do.
House,
I
yes.
feel like I need to give a quick shout out though, because on our last show, I said I wasn't going to dress up because I didn't want to buy a costume. So Ashley Conway Venmoed me $25 so that I could go and buy this. So thank you, friend.
nice.
Anyway, have you guys heard of Hill Houses or Judgment Houses?
Hill House.
Hell
Hell
Houses.
Houses. I
Man,
got Hill. I just said
What
Hill
are
House.
you drinking? What are you drinking?
Dude, for
Sparkling
real.
water.
Nobody
Sparkling
believes
water.
you anymore, Kerplunk.
This mirror. It's been a long day. I might be a little high on like candy that I've ingested, like a sugar high. Should clarify.
Well, that would be a terrible thing to have before you went into a hell house.
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
So
yes.
hell houses, they're basically haunted houses put on by churches. They can be called judgment houses. They can be called Scaremare. It's the one in Virginia. There's a bunch of different ones. So who here has been to one? And Rachel, didn't you work? Did you
Yeah,
work one?
I got community service hours at Liberty, like to do Scaremare.
Why did you need community service hours?
Every student had to have 25 community service hours a semester.
Oh,
I think it was 25.
That's a disappointing answer.
Oh yeah, every single student. We didn't do community service when we were in trouble. We just paid money.
Fines.
Yeah, I just had
Did you
to
get fined? Yeah.
If you had more than 12 reps.
Oh,
paid
wait.
fines.
Do you guys see Amanda Casper's comments about Christian horror movies? Have you guys ever seen like a Christian horror movie?
Just the Left Behind ones where everyone gets their head chopped off.
Which is pretty horrifying. So
Yeah.
I do feel like most Christian horror movies don't intend. Do you remember the one about the missionaries who like died immediately? It was in theaters. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to derail us. I just saw her. There was a Christian horror movie for teenagers that Frank Peretti, he wrote a book and they made it into a movie
Ooh, I love
called The
Frank Peretti.
Hangman's Curse.
I read
remember.
that book.
I remember
Yes.
Hangman's Curse. No, hated it.
I loved the book. I don't.
They
think
made
I
it
liked
into
the
a
film.
movie and it starred Leighton Meester before she was in Gossip Girl.
I
And
When
it
I was
is-
younger, I was younger, people said that I looked like her, and nobody says it anymore. They're like, Rachel, you got old. You got old. You don't look like her anymore. But there's this meme where she's putting a crown on, and it says like it's my birthday month or whatever. Like, and people have literally posted that on my feed forever because like it actually looks like you all those years ago. Oh,
I'm still here. I'm just taking out my context. I didn't want to.
Ryan, I also owned that movie. It was so bad. It was so bad.
No. Okay. So
I'm so
let's
sorry.
talk
Hell
about.
Houses.
No, you're okay. Hell houses. So before we talk about them, I want to show you maybe a little video of one. This is like the least scary thing, just to kind of show you. It's trying to literally like show you like this is what hell is, and this at rapture times. They both can attest to this. There are a lot of Hell House videos and things that are so messed up we would never show them on here because they show a lot of different like real life scenarios.
And graphic.
And like horrible. So that's not this. Here, we're gonna watch this.
You might want to turn your volume down.
Yeah, it's very loud. Why is she smiling?
There's no smiles in hell. Take those keys.
The keys down.
Fear not, I'm the first and the last. I'm he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I'm alive forevermore.
That man is wearing a Burger King crown.
You can start buying and selling again like you were. I'm going to give this little one here all the food he needs. I'll give you a roof over your heads.
The child.
I'll give you a place to sleep at night. Listen, guys.
But is this torture anything compared to those who will have to spend eternity in hell for taking the mark?
That last scene with the guy was like, I'll give you food. That was obviously a post-rapture themed one. So these were Kirstens that were left behind that were refusing the mark of the beast.
Which the little kid part of that really like did not sit well with me. Like, no, that's a child.
My favorite part in that first hell scene, at some point later, he starts talking to the audience and he's like, so what do you guys think? Do you think a loving God would send good people to hell? It's like, it's your choice not to believe it. You may think it's just a bunch of religious old men doing this for attention. Like, he legit said that. And I was like, yeah, that part.
So I couldn't find a good video of anybody going through Scaremare. I could just find their promo videos, which because it's Liberty and there's so much money are actually really, really well done. Like the promos are amazing. But I went to their website. I wanted to read you what their mission says. Scaremare presents funhouse rooms and scenes of death in order to confront people with the question, what happens after I die? Groups of people experience a 40-minute journey, passing through creepy trails, dark woods, and eventually entering the house. At the end of the experience, visitors are presented with an answer to the question, what happens after I die, and given the life-changing message of Jesus Christ. 26,000 people have made decisions for Christ over the past 2 decades. Like, my favorite just fun houses and
so
scenes
pretty.
of death. Like, just to tell you, what are you going to do after you die? Like, when we worked it, I never worked inside of it because I was scared. I worked like tickets or whatever outside. But like
that checks out.
Yeah, seriously. But I'm like, like we literally just scared people and then tried to get them saved. And apparently that worked 26,000 times.
Your tactics.
Do you guys remember, everyone I've talked to has this very strong sense memory about hell houses with the smell. There's a really specific smell to hell houses that's like fake blood and smoke machine smell and some other nondescript. And it's different than a haunted house. I can't explain it, but everyone I've talked to is like, yes, that is the smell. It's so weird. I don't know if they're like there's like a prepackaged Hell House kit that people can buy, and they pipe
No,
that
those
spell
definitely
in.
exist. There are kits you can get, and there's multiple different scripts that you can buy online.
See, I've like the clip that you showed, I've never been to one like that. I have been to different ones where, like, I went to one that was like the 7 deadly sins.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to one, oh my gosh, I was thinking about this after our planning meeting. We were talking about this. When I was a freshman in college, my friends were all planning this like apple picking weekend. They were all going to go pick apples at an orchard and do fall activities. And I was like, no, I've got a better idea. And I had my 2 best friends, and I took them home with me to my hometown and took them to a Hell House because I was so proud of it. Like, oh, I feel deeply ashamed of that moment. The pictures my friends have of that weekend are like, they're like beautiful. They're enjoying the weather, enjoying this apple orchard. And I'm like, yeah, the Hell House. Isn't this amazing? The work of the kingdom.
Right.
Blech, blech.
Doesn't the Bible say that God has not given us the spirit of fear? Why are we scaring people into heaven?
Great question.
It's a great question. I feel like most of my life spent in church was them just trying to scare the hell out of us. And so it was literally, right? And so then they can't really compete with this holiday, and people are, even in the church, are celebrating with their kids. They're just going as friendly, happy things instead of sad things. And so they're like, how can we market this?
Mm-hmm.
How can we take this back and use that fear of like from horror movies and whatever to now continue to like scare the hell out of people?
Yeah. Well, and also, have you ever gone to the play Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames?
Mm-mm.
I did not know about this. So one of the very first things that I did big numbers with on TikTok was a video about like Cry Night. And people started talking about hell houses, which led to a conversation about Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames. I had to YouTube it. I'd never heard of it before.
They're awful.
It's terrifying.
I went to way more Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flame. Like, my church put them on. We never put on a Hell House or a Judgment House, but we did Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames, I feel like almost every year. And you just follow these characters. It's pretty much just like a Hell House as far as you follow characters' storyline. And there's usually a party scene, and some people drink or have premarital sex. I mean, you don't show anything, and more like talk about it, or they turn the lights off and you imagine lust.
Yeah.
And then at the end, there's usually like one or 2 characters that are really Christian, and they like say no to drugs and no to drinking or no to cussing, whatever. And so they're obviously the ones that go to heaven at the end. They have the same judgment day, just like in the Hell Houses. But the thing that would always drive me crazy, because I like, even as a kid watching it, I just could not understand, is sometimes there would be like a really graphic car crash and like a bunch of people would die. Like, these friend group would die.
Mm-hmm.
And like most of them would go to hell. Very like traumatizingly go to hell. Like, they're screaming, they're bloody from the car wreck. Satan comes out, drags them to hell.
Oh, traumatizing.
It is. But then the 1 or 2 Christian people, sometimes their families would also go to hell. Like the dad that was a good dad, but just didn't believe. So then he goes to hell. And then you'd have these kids that would go to heaven, and they'd be crying because they were in the judgment room and they saw their friends and family being sentenced to hell. And literally they would come up and they would quote that scripture where it's like, and he'll wipe every tear from your eye. And you see Jesus like actually wipe away their tears.
No.
And they're like, in heaven, there's no tears, because you're so happy to be in heaven that you don't cry. Like, I remember as a kid being like, I cannot imagine not being so mortified and upset being in heaven after watching my family and loved ones go to hell.
Yeah.
Do you when I was kind of taught those things, I always would then ask myself, so then will I not remember them? Like, when he wipes the tears, will I just suddenly not remember them?
Amnesia.
That they're not, because that was one of the things that I was taught, was that you won't even remember the people who are not there because it will be painful. And so to avoid that pain, you won't even remember them. It'll be wiped from your memory. And I remember as a kid being like, that doesn't sound like a good option. Like, I don't want to not remember someone that I love.
Yeah.
For eternity.
Yeah. I can't remember the creator now, because there are just so many of them, of like conservative Christian, evangelical creators. I can't remember which guy it was. I think it might have been carry your CrossFit. I think it might have been him.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. We've all had fun with him. I think it was him where somebody said like, so if you believe that God would let people go to hell and your daughter, I think someone literally said your daughter or your sister or something very close to him were in hell, like, how would you feel? And he was like, I would be happy because that's the law of Christ fulfilled. And I was like,
I remember that video.
you remember? It was mortifying because it was like, somebody said,
It's
oh,
like
God,
they
not
made
him.
their
Yes,
choice.
him.
That's
Yeah.
the thing, though. No one's like, that is not a choice. That is an ultimatum.
Yeah, that's what that is. It's an ultimatum, which is
Well, it kind of the whole idea of free will is that there's not a punishment if you choose differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not actually free will if there's this huge Damocles hanging over your head if you make the wrong choice. That's coercion, guys. Do you really want to believe in a God that was like, hey, you can love me if you want to or not, but if you don't, I'm going to torture you for all eternity. No big deal. It's fine. It's free will.
Yeah.
Were y'all ever taught growing up? This was another thing that was traumatizing. If I ever met a friend like at school or whatever who was not a Christian, I suddenly felt this pressure to convert them.
Save them.
Because if I didn't, I was taught that like anyone that I come in contact with, if they don't choose Jesus, then their blood is going to be on my hands. That is a lot for a child to carry around.
It's a lot for anybody, but especially a child.
I remember being taught too, like, even if it doesn't work, it's fine. You're planting seeds. You never know when those seeds, you're planting seeds. And I look back now and I'm like, man, it made a 13-year-old me kind of an asshole.
Yeah. That was one of the verses I remember, like my youth pastor talking to us about when we were in high school, that Paul planted and Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. And he would use that scripture to be like, Paul didn't complete the task. Apollos didn't complete the task. Everybody like had their role, but it was God that gave the increase. So like when you're sharing Jesus with your friends at school, they might not come to know Jesus for 50 years, but you planted, someone else will water, but it's God that gives. And we were like, yeah, we're telling everybody about Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think that, I mean, obviously the three of us, we do, but I think so often, like, how often do people come around and be like, man, I said some real fucked up shit? Like,
are you guys in the I think the people in the comments here probably do it as much as us here. That's why they're here.
That's one of the reasons that I appreciate deconstruction spaces, because a lot of people are like, oh, I feel seen when in my doubts. I feel seen in like the things that I'm learning. I feel seen in the shitty things I used to say and genuinely believe. Like feeling that there are other people in that with me who look backwards at things that they really believed and really spoke. You guys, once my youth group went to the mall and we all wore matching shirts. Oh God. We all wore matching shirts and the goal was, we had a camp speaker who would tell all of these incredible stories about how he just walked into places and people were just falling all over themselves to get saved. And it was the Holy Spirit. And we were like, we're filled with the Holy Spirit. We can do that. And we went to the mall and we just walked up to random people and we're like, hey, God loves you.
Changing the world.
Anticipating that people would genuinely be like, oh my God.
What? This is brand new information. Thank you so much.
I have never heard that before in my life.
And I was probably 14 and I still remember this couple. They were probably in their early 20s. They were shopping together at the mall and they were just like, cool. And walked away.
Well, I also remember too being told like they would be they would tell us when you witness to your friends and tell them like about hell and give them the gospel, sometimes they'll react and be mean to you. And like, they would call that persecution. And it wouldn't be because you were calling them out on their sin or condemning them or, telling them they're going to hell. That's not why they're getting mad. They're getting mad because they hate the Jesus in you. It's the demons in them responding to the Jesus in you, not the fact that you're being a bigot.
Right.
Or the fact that you're intruding on a personal moment between people. Like,
right. Yeah. This right here, for those of you listening on the podcast, read it out loud. It says, totally ruined a friendship by not being empathetic when they were sad and just telling them that they needed to turn to God.
Oh, I've done that.
That is something
Ugh.
I think when people tell like stories on TikTok or any deconstruction space is really about that kind of thing of just being like so unfeeling. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry for anybody that I was that way too. We were so arrogant. We were just so incredibly arrogant.
One of the things I always like these kids on TikTok who are like, David's back, by the way, April.
I know.
You guys?
Rachel's
So,
gotta start duetting him again.
I have
I know,
three
I'm
in
waiting.
I have 3 of them in my draft.
So the reason I thought of that is because this is a 2-part thing. The reason I thought of that is because some of these apologist 18-year-olds, like I feel bad for them because I'm like, dude, in 10 years, there's a really good chance that you're going to look back and go, oh my God, what did I do? What have I done? And then the flip side of that is like David, this is a tangent, but David, he made a video recently and he was like, I never do this. I never ask for money on TikTok. And I was like, buddy, I've never seen a video of yours where you didn't say, if you want to support my ministry, this is what you can do.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So he was supposed to go to college locally, like near where I live.
That's right.
Then I was wondering, like, oh, did he ever show up? And apparently in his GoFundMe for his personal like mission work, it said in there that he was going to go to this university, this Christian university. But now the Lord has called him to not look for earthly success, but to follow God's plan. So getting a college degree is earthly success.
And he's in Texas now. I saw on one of the videos I duetted. I don't know what he's doing in Texas, but
the thing that people don't understand is that what that means is that he's making enough money off of his internet notoriety that he doesn't want to spend it on tuition at a college. That's what they don't see.
Can we talk about a little bit about, this is not on one of the topics, but this conversation is making me think of it, is in thinking about like those shitty things that we said and the way that we were evangelizing in malls and those kind of things, that there's been a shift of, I don't know if character is the right word, but just personality, because there are people in deconstruction spaces who are still apologists and who are still all of these personalities that they had in the church, and they have not really gotten rid of that. And so it's not just removing us from this space, but I think we've all, I guess I shouldn't speak for you guys, but I would say, I know you well enough to think you've just changed genuinely who you are.
Yeah.
Priorities and things like that.
The thing is, it's so hard to break down those apologetics based mentalities in all of us. And I think that one of the things that if you are on a journey of deconstruction, one of the ways that you have to be so careful to break down is, am I using the same vehicle and expecting it to operate differently because I'm on a different road?
Yeah.
And I think that happens in several verticals, and apologetics is one of them. Like I see deconstruction apologetics all the time, and I'm like, this is still not a dialogue. And I see that it's not just TikTok. I see that on Twitter. I see that on Clubhouse. Like there's all of these different spaces where deconstructionists gather and talk, and they are still operating in the same vehicle that they were operating in before. But they're like, but I'm on a different road, so it's going to be different this time.
Well, I think it depends on what makes you leave the church. And like for me, what started my kind of deconstruction or whatever was tragedy. Like tragedy in my life that made me question certain things and just things that I couldn't explain.
Yeah.
Like I don't have like a really dramatic church hurt story. Like the church didn't really hurt me. In hindsight, I can see things that were harmful, but in the moment I didn't see them as like hurting me or traumatizing me or whatever. So I do feel like there are some deconstruction people that are evangelicals or whatever that do feel or seem like bitter. Like not that we have a right to be bitter about what they're doing, but like there's some people that just seem like they want to prove their side right.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, I have no idea. Like, this is where I've landed for today. But like, if anything I've learned in this whole like faith journey of unlearning and things is that like, I really don't know. And I don't ever want to like stick my flag into something like so concretely that it's going to be as hard as it was to take out the first time.
That was my first stop on deconstruction, was that like, I'm no longer going to hold anything with an absolute fist, because that was my problem within the evangelical mindset. And I needed to approach things with a more teachable spirit. And I needed to approach every single thing in my life and in my belief structure with the idea that, hey, I might be wrong about this, and that would be okay. We were taught in evangelicalism that being wrong is the worst thing you could be, because it was a matter of life and death, not just yours, like what you were saying, April, but everybody that you know. If you're wrong, you're taken. And that's the hate comments that we all get, right, from evangelicals. I feel bad for you and everyone that you're leading astray. Being wrong is the worst thing you could be, because it's not just going to condemn you, it's going to condemn everybody. And I'm over here like, actually, there's a lot of freedom in recognizing that it's not that I could be wrong. I literally am wrong about some things, and that's okay.
Yeah. I think that I probably am somebody who at different times on TikTok, at least, people have probably been like, she's bitter.
Well, and I don't think bitter in and of itself is wrong. Like, I don't mean to say, like, bitter isn't a human emotion, but I hope.
Right. Yeah. But I probably come off that way a little bit, when really it's just like, I just really want to burn it down. Like, I don't care so much about arguing with them. And that's why when I see people do that stuff, I'm like, even though they're saying things I believe, I'm like, oh, stop having it's not going anywhere. Like, it's not, everybody knows that you know all these things, but like, they don't care. They still think you're wrong. So like, but me, I just want it to stop. Like, I want the whole process of the institution to stop. And so I get so angry sometimes. And so they're like, you're just so bitter at the church. And I'm like, I don't know that I'm bitter at the church. I really just want to see it burned to the ground.
And that's a fair emotion. Like, I mean, that is something that Midnight Mass covers so well. It's like, yes, the church is doing these good things, but people are also dying in Midnight Mass, probably in real life too. But it's like the things that you justify, because it's like, look at all the good. So they cover stuff up. And that's kind of why I'm like, burn it down. Like, let's just focus on entities that are doing good, at least trying to do good, and not covering up a whole bunch of abuse and other crap to justify it.
Yeah.
Guys, someday when we're not doing a Halloween episode, I can tell you about the Twitter argument I once got into with Rachel Held Evans, where she unfollowed me. What? And it was a pivotal moment for me in deconstruction, where I realized deconstruction wasn't switching from one team to the other, where we were all on one team and now we're all on this team. Deconstruction was the freedom to go, hey, you know what? You believe this way and I don't, and that's okay. We have different belief systems. We have different operating modes in these things, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't make anybody, like, I have every single one of her books. And I know people in that same, like, it was like a whole big thing back in the day. And I know people that walked away and they swore off Rachel Held Evans forever. They were like, she's the worst. I'm like, no, she's not. She just thinks differently about this. And that, like, it just is what it is. The whole idea of cutting people out because they have one difference from you, that's still evangelicalism. That is still the bones of evangelicalism, trying to get life back in your world. And you got to lay that down and say, part of deconstructing my religious upbringing or my religious structure is saying, I have space for people who believe differently than I do about more than just religion, about a lot of things.
Yeah. Where I draw the line, though, and this is where, like, the conservatives come in, they're like, oh, well, we just disagree. It's just a difference of opinion. Like, no, you were trying to take human rights away from people.
Right.
Like,
that's always the line, right?
Yeah.
Harm is like, harm is the line.
Like, I'm not going to be cool with you harming people on a regular basis.
Well, and I think there's also like, this is, I think, on my first season of my podcast, talking about like revoking access. That's one of my favorite episodes. And it's a thing that I work on every day. And I use that phrase a lot in my life, that I revoke people's access. The church told us that we had to, unity. Like, you always have to like have unity in the church. And when I was a kid and we were arguing with our friends from church, it was always about like, say you're sorry and you're going to be friends forever. You don't actually have to be like friends and walk the journey with people. And so that's what, even within deconstruction, or like people, whoever we are that have left the church and are trying to figure out life and faith, is that like we don't actually have to have unity with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so like my line is similar to yours, right? Harm. And so there are people that are like, so you don't have a lot of grace for people that aren't where you're at on this topic. And like, it's not that I don't have grace for them. I just don't have to walk my journey with them then.
Mhm.
Like I want to protect what's around me. I can actually have grace for them on this. I do that. Like, I hope they come around to this thing that I think is really essentially important.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I have to like be their friend. I'm not over here like talking shit. Like I'm not being mean. Like I hate you. Like, but I'm
Unless
allowed
you're
to
Chris
protect-
Valentin.
Unless I'm Chris
Oh
Valentin,
my
and I
gosh.
am
I
talking
love
shit
that
to
that's your
you.
identity on the internet. The girl who talks shit about Chris Valentin.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
so you guys, they don't know this, but somebody said that about me the other day. I told the girls. Somebody was like, "Oh, you're the girl that got the
That's pretty awesome.
the battle with Chris Valentin." Yes, I am. Thank you.
The thing about what you're saying, Rachel, is it applies in so many verticals. So this is a Halloween episode. I don't know how we're going this
Yeah,
deep
we
or
got
vulnerable
way
right now,
off.
but
This is
we're
supposed to
in
be
it.
like,
We're
"Come on,
in it, so let's
Monster
do it.
Amaka.
I have a super complicated relationship with my mom, and I have gone rounds with Christians who would tell me like, honor your mother, honor your mother, honor your mother and father. And I'm like, what you're asking me to do is to submit myself to harm. And I can honor her and love her and respect her as a human while also not submitting myself to harm. Those can be things that both simultaneously happen. That's called good boundaries. And I think that that's one thing that the church really struggles with, is the understanding that it's not all or nothing. It's not like I'm all in it with her and allowing her to treat me however she wants to, or I'm not in it at all. I just have better boundaries that say, you are still allowed to be a person in my life, but I hold boundaries on how much of this journey I walk with you, because I'm not willing to submit myself to harm the way that the church taught me I was supposed to. That if you really love someone, you'll just stay in it and pray, keep praying for them. I had a woman once who was like, yeah, but you still love her. And I was like, right now, I love her as a person. Like I love her as a human. But if you're trying to tell me that I love her in a way that I'm incapable of loving her right now, because that's just not our relationship. And that's okay. There's nothing inherently sinful about drawing a line and not submitting myself to harm. That is not what it means to be selfless. That's not what it means to love selflessly. It doesn't mean sacrificing yourself on the altar of Christianity and the weird Christian forgiveness that's taught. That's not anyway, we're way off the plot, but
yes.
Well, and you can look to Jesus. Sorry, April. You can look to, if we're going to be all Christian for a second, we can literally look to Jesus for that example. When his own family was distracting him from what he was trying to do, because that's what they were trying to get his attention when he was doing something else. He is so petty. They're like, your mom and your brother want your attention, and he's like, who's my mom? Who's my brother? I don't know those people. Like, y'all, my family right here. Like, because they were distracting him, and he had boundaries with his own family.
Yeah.
When Jesus calls Mary woman, I'm always like, do you guys understand what it means for a first century Middle Eastern man to refer to his mother that way when she's giving him a direct order? And he's like, woman, leave me alone. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy behavior.
I was just going to point out that Marissa in the chat has a good point, that what's scary is when they have a different definition of harm, because so many, especially evangelicals, they masquerade their bigotry and their hatred as quote unquote love. Yeah, it's like, oh, love the sinner, hate the sin. Like, oh, I still love you as a person. I just hate everything about you.
That I've seen that resurface in videos lately with conservative Christians. They're like, they have brought back the whole idea of like, I'm hurting your feelings for Jesus, and that's holy.
I saw a meme on Facebook for a Christian. It didn't make my things I saw Christians post on Facebook this week because I had a lot, but it was like, Jesus Christ was the most hated man in the world, and if you're not hated for your beliefs, you're doing Christianity wrong.
Such a weird thing to be like, the proof of how much I love you is how mad I make you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's how they get away with no accountability. They say something super hateful and hurtful, and people get mad. And like that guy that harassed those girls at the beach and like in the bikinis was like, "You're promoting pornography" or whatever. He like
I should have been him for Halloween.
You totally should have. That would have been amazing.
and we could have been the girls.
We totally could have. We totally could have.
But he like after all that went down, like started posting all this persecution kink crap, like persecution versus I'm being persecuted for God and the world will hate me, and like gave his like non-apology and felt like more righteously indignant because of all of the hate.
Yeah. There was no like moment of like genuine shame with him.
No.
Or like remorse. Like zero.
No,
Zero.
none at all.
No.
Yes, Logan Van Dorn was his name.
Yeah, he did like
Thanks,
2
Brian.
seconds of reflection, and his reflection was, "I'm right and the world is wrong, and this is a mark."
I don't
of a
even know
man.
if he
Like,
said sorry. If he did, he was like, "I'm sorry you were offended, but I was just following God's
April,
orders."
do you not know he posted a spoken word poem
so bad
as his apology, and it very quickly went from I shouldn't have spoken to them like that into I should have listened to how God told me to react with love. I mean, it was so bad. I love poetry, and from a technical poetics, I wanted to be like, hey buddy, like this is not even a knock at you from a religious, spiritual standpoint, but just from someone who enjoys poetry and spoken word, don't do that. Don't do that.
To bring this full circle, he got engaged to his fiance on stage at a Sean Foyt concert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my other best friend.
Yeah, and they're like friends because I saw Sean Foyt like comment on some of his stuff when I was like stalking him for video. Yeah, Sean Foyt's also
they're not friends. He's an opportunist. Sean Foyt is an opportunist, and he
Sean Foyt for Halloween.
You guys, do you know that I went to school with his wife?
I'm so sorry.
How is she?
Well, I mean, we were in the 7th grade, but she was incredibly, and one of my very best friends has known her whole life. So like, I remember, let's see, my kid is 10. His very first like concert was when Jesus Culture, they did their Awakening tour. And Sean Foyt, this was back before he was associated with Bethel, and he was still doing this thing that he created called Burn 24/7. And it was like a prayer furnace room. Yeah, no, appropriate face, Rachel. Absolutely. Yeah. And we were there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to see, like, I'd love to see her. So I went to the room. I didn't go into it because I was like, I'm not into this. This is not, I was already deconstructing at that point, so it wasn't my jam, but I just wanted to say hi to her. So I went there, and there was an attendant at the door, and I said, hey, do you know, is Sean's wife here? Like I knew her in middle school. Like I would love to just say hi to her. And she was like, oh, I don't know, but Sean's right there if you want to ask him. And he was walking out. He was like not in the room. He was out in the lobby area of this event center. So I went over to him and I was like, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Is your wife here? I went to school with her when she lived in XYZ place, and I would love to talk to her. And he went, you guys, I have, the term withering stare, like a withering look. I have never received a more withering look. He just looked at me like, no, and walked away. And I was like, cool. Okay. Oh God, I'm so uncomfortable.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. And then later that night, he was called up on stage with like Bannon Liebscher. Do you know who Bannon Liebscher is? Or Schreiber? I don't remember his name anymore.
I don't know that.
And the lead pastor of Bethel, because Jesus Culture was still Bethel then. And I was like, oh God, I think he thinks he's cooler than he is. And then I watched the next 10 years happen. And I was like, oh no, he definitely thinks he's cooler than he is.
I don't know exactly how this started, but most of the comment section is all about feet washing right now. And it made me think, oh my gosh, when I was at Liberty, Dave and Emily, if you ever hear this, Emily, sorry. My friends, David and Emily got engaged, and that is what he did before he asked her to marry him. He like led her to this place, and then he was there. And he read the scripture about it, and he washed her feet and then asked her to marry him. And we all just we cried. We thought it was the most godly, like sweetest expression. Jesus washed the disciples' feet, and he's a server like like Jesus loaves the bread.
Oh my gosh.
It was so emotional for us, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cringy.
Well, and like
It's so
those
cringy.
weddings too. I feel like someone from Bethel was posting about it, but they have like full on like worship at the altar of their wedding, like together.
Did you
like,
take communion at your wedding, April?
We did.
I actually like that.
How did we?
We did, but we didn't. But
I
we
actually
turned our
like
backs.
it.
Like we didn't offer
Yes.
communion to anyone else. Like we
Nope.
turned our backs and just us did it.
We had the pastor turn off his mic so that we just had a song playing. And we were like, we're going to, the pastor of the church we got married in, who was my dad, even though he was not the one officiating the ceremony, he was like, well, you should offer communion. And I was like, I don't want to. This is not a moment that's about them. It's just us.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
But the feet thing, sorry, going back for a second. Do you guys remember, it was like maybe 6 months ago, maybe not that long ago, on TikTok that this video was going around because the elementary age kids at this church were washing their youth leaders' feet in this video, and everybody was like, what the hell is this? And they're like, it's just, their way of like saying they appreciate the hard work the workers do. But like they're elementary age kids. It was so weird.
Well, the comment in the chat about the wedding, I think that started it, was that the woman washed the husband's feet to show her submission to him as the
I think
male
that was Jennifer
head.
that said that.
Jennifer, yes. I was in a wedding like 2 years ago, or I wasn't in the wedding. I went to a wedding 2 years ago, and in the vows, the girl repeated the vows that the guy's dad said. And it was like, I vow to obey my husband in everything. And like referenced her as the weaker vessel in the vows. I was huffing and puffing in my seat, like getting really pissed. And Beecher was like, April, calm down. It's fine. It's not your wedding. It's like,
were you kerplunking?
I was about to kerplunk all over that place.
I just feel like everyone watching, just be aware, kerplunk is now in the heretics lexicon. Like it's just going to be part of,
kerplunking.
So far we got like shit and kerplunking. Like those are the things that are
skyline, kerplunking. These are going to be things that just keep coming up.
Did you see there was a comment in the first like 5 minutes about skyline, and I didn't put it on the screen.
I did see that comment, and I did notice that we all ignored it, and now you're bringing it up, and it's kind of
Who just said skyline first? That would be you.
Amok.
And that's yours. Mine is I smell children, and Abby's is you plenty. Winifred.
The problem is, the thing is, so I do have red hair, but Rachel has the vocal abilities to be Winifred. I was thinking about that today. Yeah, but you have like the that deep throaty, like that thing that I just did. You could do it with such clear tone. April has a beautiful, I just gotta go. You guys can both be Winifred. I'm over here like book.
You sounded beautiful and you said book.
It was perfect.
Book.
One of my kids saw me, they were like, do the song, and I was like, no.
That's
Rachel,
why we played it.
Did you ever do this? This is like totally off topic, and we probably should wrap this up because the World Series is going on right now.
Well, we have.
Oh my God! Is the World Series on right now, April?
You guys
yes,
don't
if
leave
the
if you're
Braves
still
win,
here.
Win it all. Okay, but real quick, Rachel, when you were like, just in life in general, when you were a worship leader, and like songs would come on in the car, would you ever purposely like sing just like not good, like not bad, but just kind of dumb your voice down to like fit in?
Sure. For sure.
Okay, I used to do that all the time, and it was a subconscious thing because I hated the people that were just always showing off their voice.
Yeah.
So I would try to just like not sing bad, and I don't even think I consciously knew it. But one of my friends would like randomly be in the car, and we would jam to music all the time. And I told her that I was leading a chapel, it was like a chapel that I was leading worship in, and she like was like, "Oh, cool." And then afterwards, she came up to me and she was like, "April, I am so relieved that you could sing because I thought you couldn't because you don't sing like that in the car."
That's so funny.
I just always would feel like people thought you were showing up. That's why I like karaoke, but I like to hear everybody sing more. And when I do sing, I don't try to like sing well.
I always pick
so
like
what
a
I
rap
hear you
song
sing is we need
some,
a
like,
karaoke
song.
night.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Fancy by Reba McEntire, for
Mm.
sure. That was like, listen, that was like the first song I learned how to do in karaoke. And my parents would take me places. We may have talked about this on a previous episode. If we did, sorry. And I was like singing this song when I was super young. I had no idea what it was about. And I'm like, Mom, you had
I
me
just
like
thought it
being
was about
7
a
years
fancy
old
dress.
singing about a hooker. She's like, you didn't know. It was fine. It was fine. I also
like
sing
that
anything
that's
Adele,
a problem, but like also at 7 years old, we're literally talking about being washed in the blood of the lamb in nursery rhyme songs.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But being a hooker, no. Can't sing. Can't sing. We should, April, then when you and Beecher finally come up here, we're gonna go to karaoke.
That sounds great.
There's a place here in Cincinnati called Tokyo Kitty where you can rent a room and a robot brings you drinks from the ceiling. And I know that what I just said sounds like I'm hallucinating, but that's literally what happens.
I told everybody at our meetup about that, and I think they were like, "Are you sure?"
We should do it, and we'll try to come during baseball season, and we can go to a Reds game.
Yes,
I had no idea you were this into baseball, and I got to be honest, it's a little weird for me.
Okay,
I'm like,
calm down.
What? No, it's because I'm from Wisconsin, and in Wisconsin we have one good sports team. Our baseball team, the Brewers, our Wisconsin, our basketball team, the Bucks. Like people don't even recognize that those are teams in national sports leagues. But if you say the Packers, people are like, "Oh yeah, okay, Rogers."
Can I just point out something really quickly here?
Yes.
When you were like being like, "Oh, we didn't have anything, like we weren't whatever." That's when you say you're from Wisconsin. When you're trying to shit on Cincinnati, you're from Chicago miraculously. Like, you got to pick one, bitch. Which one are
I
you
don't
from?
know. I don't.
Which one are you from? You're from Wisconsin.
I was raised in Wisconsin and then lived most of Wisconsin. That's not careful because I'll go there. It's not hard.
Over by
it's
there.
not hard. Do you want some hot dish?
Oh, what is
hot dish?
Hot dish?
No, I don't. Thank you.
You want to get the jab?
Oh my God, the jab.
Not here in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, we don't believe in those things.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Rachel's hosting this thing and she disappeared. I don't have any controls.
Brian, I know that the Bucks, I get it. I know. But this is the first time that people are like, the Bucks.
Rachel got raptured. And God was like, no, send her back.
He's like, I'll pass.
He saw that red cape and was like, seems a little sus. I don't think
he knows way too much about me. By the way, these lashes are so intense. I can only see half out of my eyes. I can't even see everything that's happening.
That's why I took mine out.
So I pressed the wrong button. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I asked these beautiful ladies to send me some pictures.
Oh, right. I forgot about this.
So, are we being our characters right now?
I don't know. April was doing it, so I started doing it.
Maybe 30 minutes ago, April was talking about something totally unrelated, and Abby's sitting just like that, and I was like, she's not freaking character. Not freaking character. Okay, hold on.
These poor people watching us are probably like, what is happening?
Okay.
No. Okay, that's fine. That's
okay,
sweet.
So
should we see if they can tell which one of us this is?
Who do y'all think that is?
It's definitely April.
Rachel!
Give them a chance, child.
They know that that's April.
Well, it's not fair because April's literal brother is in the comments and he is in the photo, so he would know.
He's my little brothers.
Which one is he? Which one's Andrew?
Andrew's the one on the right.
On the right, yeah.
Aww.
How old do you think you were here?
I was probably 6.
Look at that skirt. I can't even handle the gathering.
I actually think that skirt's amazing.
I do too.
It's actually pretty cute.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Can we just talk about how far we've come in car seats? Because
what is that, a bucket?
That is my car seat.
That's a car seat?
My actual car seat.
Oh my God.
Which
how
also
did you live?
I love that you guys were cowboys and my brother is here. Maybe that was a 80s thing,
theme.
a little theme right there. But first of all, I look terrified, but that is seriously like, I'm sure I was safe, right?
Yeah, you're
It looks like
alive.
there's a strap. Somebody thought it was a laundry basket. So, Abby was not a cowgirl. Abby, I cannot wait to show them this. So you can tell them.
You better not. I sent
Who you
I
are.
sent Rachel a couple photos and oh god.
Wow.
Abby,
What
tell
is
her-
that?
Abby, tell who you are.
What am I seeing? Is your hair crimped?
It is every last piece of it.
I remember when I used to crimp my hair.
That was I want to say 3rd grade, and it was my Christian school's fall fest, and we could only be certain things. So I was Queen Esther.
Of course, she was a Bible character.
This is that dress doesn't fit me. So what you can't tell is that dress is literally wrapped around me and safety pinned down the side.
Your hair is amazing.
It is amazing.
And my Burger King crown.
Do
that
they
my
even still
grandmother,
sell crimpers?
Yeah,
Is
I
that-
actually
Yes,
have one.
I have one too.
Oh my gosh, I used to crimp my hair. That's so funny.
Lest you thought that Abby didn't also go through the cow.
Shut up. Shut up.
Aw, Abby.
I hate you so much. It hurts.
This is where I tell like you podcast people, you're gonna need to watch this because you're not seeing any. That is the best. How old are you here, you think?
Let's see. 23. I was 23.
pretty
That was Halloween at my job.
Okay.
Mhm.
I've just set this picture up because I don't know how old I am here, young, little, but you can't see the whole costume. So I loved this costume. It was like my favorite costume as a kid. I don't look like it right here, but that thing that's around me, it's basically like a hula hoop sized thing, and it is the magician's hat. So it's like, I am the rabbit in the magician's hat, and I couldn't like get through like the hallway because the thing was so big, like where by people. But I loved.
Rachel, the thing about this picture is you look so angry. You
I'm
look
so
like
angry.
I'm angry about this costume. I'm angry that I'm outside. I'm angry that you're
I
taking
feel
my
like
picture.
if we had to caption this, it would be like burn down the church.
This is one of those photos that people superimpose onto like natural disaster situations where it's like the bunny did it.
Yeah, definitely. Which
This
I
is
just also wish I could zoom in on here, but you really can't. But the lady's dress, like the teacher's dress behind there, is so perfectly like 1990.
Mm.
This is all amazing.
I
I want to
the
put like
90s are amazing.
future Chris Valentin hater.
I'm
I'm not
already
bitter,
knew about
I'm
him.
angry.
I was so mad. I was probably just mad at my mom for making me go over there and take a picture when I was like, clearly
Yeah, because
missing
you
all the
wanted to be
candy.
like exactly.
Brian
Yeah.
said if FML had a face.
But I love
See,
that.
wait, but
costume.
raise your hand if Rachel has ever made that face at you in real life, because Rachel has for sure made that face at me in real life.
I feel like at some point during our weekend it happened.
I probably did. It just kind of, and all
I at
if
least
there's
saw
all the
it,
people
whether
in
it was
here,
to me or not.
yeah, all the people that are in here, like that were at the meetup last week, are probably like, I was only with her for a few hours, and she probably
Can you do the face on demand? Can you show us?
Do it.
Is that what I'm doing?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Probably.
When
I
we
have
were all
eyelashes
together, we had stayed up super late the first night that we were there. And the second night we were there, we went to dinner, and I was so tired that I was like, I'm so sorry. I have to leave this table and go nap while you guys finish this meal, and then I'll be awake when you guys get back. This is the exact face that Rachel made at me. And she made that face and was like, do whatever's good for you.
She literally left.
Y'all had
dinner.
already ordered. Lindsay
Yeah.
left with you too.
Ordered food and everything and left. So that's probably the
Left
face
me
I
and
made.
Rachel at the table alone with 4 dinner plates coming.
Like they literally came back and I'm like, I think the
I
waitress
took my
thought something was
food
wrong.
home.
Yeah. You were like, can I get my food to go? Like we had just got to appetizer.
And it was super awkward because we'd only all known each other for like 24 hours at that point. And I was like, oh, I just gotta go. I'm so sorry.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Oh God.
Okay. What
Okay.
What's
happening?
This is my homemade bubble bath costume. But this is at the end of the night.
That's what you
So-
are.
So obviously, like some of the paper, like it's supposed to look like water around me, and I have to wear PJs because I can't go nude because it was a church event. But
Of
I won
course.
$100 because I won best costume, which
You
is
won
really hard
That
for a
was the
preacher's
best costume?
Stop. It was
That's-
homemade and very
it's terrible.
creative. Like a lot of the balloons had fallen off. This was like after I got home. Okay, the balloons had fallen off. I won $100. And listen, it is really hard for a preacher's kid to freaking win because no one wants to show favoritism. That's
Right.
how good it was that they gave it to me anyway.
Or that's how bad it was that they all felt so bad. They were like, she's in her pajamas in
No.
a bathtub.
Andrew, tell us the truth. Was it good?
No, it was
Andrew,
good. I
tell
got
us.
so many compliments on it, and it
no.
wasn't people sucking up to me because I was the pastor's kid.
Hey, baby, I'm a pastor's kid too. So let me just say it absolutely was.
Andrew said he tried to block that one out of his mouth.
No, guys, I'm probably like I had like 100 balloons, like full of bubbles, and the blue paper. I'm telling you, this is at the end of the night. But look how happy little April is.
I just love
won
how much you're defending it right now. Like in this moment, you're like ride or
Well,
die for this
because
bubble
I
bath
made
costume.
that freaking costume.
Rachel, don't you dare.
Well, no, listen.
No, we're done.
No,
this is our last costume, and
the
now
next
we're done.
picture is April. It's not
Okay,
everything's
good.
about you, Abby Smith.
I sent Rachel
coming.
several pictures today, and I was like, just choose one. And she was like, so I can choose two. And I was like,
I
no,
said
no,
two.
just
It's a
Because-
costume, right?
So
That you're about to show.
costume. Well, yes, because it's like, how old do you think you are here? What'd you say?
I was probably 23.
You were what?
Oh, and here in this picture,
This-
this picture, I was 23.
That's my
No,
perspective.
no, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the next picture.
Yeah.
No,
if you
this
were
picture-
23 in this picture, it was absolutely a pity vote. It was absolutely a pity vote.
No, in this picture, I was 13, I think. I was
Well,
12 or 13.
So this is the difference of like a 12 or 13-year-old girl costume. And then this is like still like modest evangelical, but all of a sudden she's grown up and it's a little sexy, right? Which, by the way, I couldn't find the picture, April, but I was Batgirl once upon a time too. Abby saw it the other day, and then
I'm
today
I
I can't
have
find
that
Catwoman,
it.
not
picture. I did
Batgirl.
save that picture off Facebook.
You're
for
not
anyone that wants it.
Batgirl? Is that what
No,
you just said?
Catwoman.
Oh,
Do you not see my
Catwoman.
cat ears?
I can't see anything with these lashes. Okay, now I get it. Okay, well, I was
So
Batgirl.
interesting. This was us going to see The Dark Knight Rises. So this wasn't
Oh.
actually Halloween. We dressed up to go see The Dark Knight. It was either The Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises, whichever one was the night of the Aurora shooting. Because after the shooting, now you're not allowed to wear masks to movie theaters anymore. So this was literally the last night that you could wear a mask to a movie theater.
And you did.
And I
But
did.
look, you got that blonde hair, and you're like, I'm
I
just
know,
gonna
I
say
was
it, you're
a
like
blonde
sticking your
for a
butt
long
out a little bit,
time.
like you're being all grown.
I was grown. I was a grown woman.
This picture coming up is the night that I learned that I can never ever wear a middle part because I tried and it looked like this.
Oh, that doesn't look terrible.
No, it looks terrible. It looks terrible. I was also the happiest Wednesday Addams ever. Like I couldn't.
Your
not-
eyebrows are so thin.
I have no eyebrows. Also, let's talk about how much life has aged me because I'm not 23 in this picture. I'm literally 29 years old. This is how much aging I've done in the last 6.5 years. Is that I look like I'm like 12 right here. No, I've just had a hard 30s. Okay.
I really feel like we all need to choose one look from these photos to recreate in a TikTok. I really feel like that needs to happen.
I could do Wednesday Addams again for sure.
I honestly think you would do a really good Wednesday Addams.
I also, you can't see, but I had black tights on and combat boots that I wore like every day anyway. I loved this costume. That was like a regular dress I had. I just put like a little shirt on underneath, but never a center part ever again. My forehead, no. I have a cowlick. It's not going to work. So anyway, this is not super sexy, right? But as you get older, April had a little touch of it. Pastor Abby Smith.
I'm excited.
You should be excited because
whoa, Abby.
First of all, I don't even know what's going on.
I feel like we've gone from Abby to Abigail here.
But that's not my name.
But it is. I'm still gonna use it. What's going on? What with the tree? With the what are you? What's happening?
You're a sexy mime.
Ashamed is what I am. Ashamed.
My face is red and it's not even me. I love this.
Okay, listen. I was 19 in this photo. My husband is watching it from the other room, and he knew me then, and I already know that he's like, I remember that girl. Like, because I would love to be like, this was totally just because it was Halloween. It wasn't. I wore that like a lot. And
they think that this is the one that you should recreate from TikTok. The comments.
Okay, well, absolutely not.
But can I genuinely? What is this costume? What is this?
Despite the fact that it looks like I am recreating one of the members of the band Kiss, I'm not. My favorite band then, and it's still up there now, is a band called the Dresden Dolls. And this was how the lead singer of the Dresden Dolls looked. And I was her for Halloween. What you can't see in this photo is that my eyebrows, I did the thing where you like glue down your eyebrows and then makeup over them. Yeah. And I put them back on, but it's like calligraphy lines. It's like loop-de-loop line eyebrows. And
are you in actual lingerie though?
I am. That is actual lingerie. And here's the thing. Oh, you guys, I can't. This is so bad. That is not the only picture of that night that I have. There are a lot of them. This is at a park.
Scandalous.
This is at a park after trick-or-treating hours were over, up the street from my conservative Bible college my freshman year. And all of these pictures exist on my Facebook still because
as they should.
Because when I took them, I was like, oh my God, these are so good. My roommate took them and I was like, oh my God, these are amazing. I look so good.
In the spirit of Christianity, the other thing that you can't see in this picture behind that tree is the spirit of lust whispering to Abby, show more skin.
Exactly.
Cause the men to stumble.
No, here is the really like the Easter egg part of this. If you look around my neck, you can't really tell the white square is a domino that has a hole drilled in it and is put on a necklace because there was a movie that came out around this time with Keira Knightley called Domino where she was a freaking bounty hunter and I was obsessed with it. And I wore, Rachel, that is the only appropriate face to be making. And oh God, I'm so embarrassed.
Well, this has nothing to do with anybody, but I found out when I was looking today. And so just to bring back the wholesome content, can we just end with this picture of my dog?
Yes, please.
Oh my God. She hates me so much. But is she the cutest panda ever? She is the cutest panda.
She's got an extra eye there.
What?
She's got
there's two eyes on the panda one.
Yes, but then she has she's
got two dog eyes and a panda eye.
She has two panda eyes too.
But you can't see it in that picture.
Can you just say she looks cute?
I think she looks so cute.
She does look super cute.
That's Caribou, my dog.
Caribou.
Yes.
Caribou boo. Caribou.
I would die for her. I literally just heard her tail start
April,
hitting the couch.
no.
Like they're talking to me.
Listen, can we just deviate for 20 seconds? April and Brian, both of you, stop it with that. Stop it with that.
With
April,
what?
Did you with the comments that you left on my TikTok? Brian B Complex joined in.
He did.
And the two of you are punning all over my comment section. And I'm over here like, stop it. Stop it now.
Abby, I left one punny comment.
No,
with like 8 puns in it.
One punny. Yes, it was one comment with
April,
multiple puns within it.
What's the name of this podcast?
Don't say it, April. I will
The
turn
HERetics.
I hate you. Oh my gosh, we've been on here so long. We have to wrap this up. No, you have to say it right.
Why have I been cursed with such idiot sisters?
Amak.
What does Mary say to get in the circle of calm?
She goes, a calming circle. Let's do a
calming circle.
Mother.
April, you would know that you would think these were funny.
I know, I need to rewatch it, but now I can't because Halloween's over.
No, you can watch it. You can.
Over.
I'm sorry. Hocus Pocus is an anytime movie.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
I don't know what you are mistakenly understanding.
It is.
You could watch it tomorrow. I'm going to watch it tomorrow with
Yeah.
Oh,
Beth.
you are. Okay.
I mean, I might watch it tonight.
Watch Midnight Mass. You will not regret it.
Everybody should like eat candy in bed tonight and watch Hocus Pocus. I'm going to take my eyelashes off because I can't handle it anymore. But this was a fun little Halloween episode. We did get a little deeper than I thought. I thought this was going to be like surface AF tonight. But
I feel like last month we had like deeper stuff to talk about it, and then it just turned into unicorns and soaking. Sorry, go ahead.
In the comments, no, Abby does not. Don't you put that out into the internet. No, Abby does not like puns.
April was literally in the middle of a sentence and I have no idea what she said now.
I just looked at the comments and they're in the comments like, so Abby likes puns. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
Why do you not like puns? Why do you hate life?
Why don't you enjoy
Who
being
hurt
happy?
you?
Yeah, who hurt you? Maybe why do you hate happiness?
I just have a better sense of humor than that. That's not true. I like Pete Davidson. Like, obviously, I don't have a good sense of humor, but puns, no. No. My comment section is going to be nothing but puns for the next week.
You need to be grateful that you have a friend that can bring so many great puns into your life.
Andrew said it's punishment for you guys, I'm not telling you to go immediately to Abby's TikTok when we're done and spam pun her, but I'm not telling you not to.
Abby, it's a free boost of content. Accept it.
It's going to push her stuff out there, so she should
It's not
really
worth
enjoy it.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Don't do
April's like, you interrupted me talking, so I'm telling people to do
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean. I saw the comment.
You were so emphatic.
So aggressive.
Oh my gosh.
I was in mid-sentence. I don't even know
I'm
what
so
I was
sorry.
saying.
Look,
I apologize.
Our
My
youngest
deepest
sister over there
apologies.
is not happy.
Well, technically, Winifred's the boss. So shut up.
She is. She's real bossy.
Come on. Was that better? I don't know.
It is because the truth is
the right word.
Winifred is the boss, but Sarah Jessica Parker's character literally has no concept of boss, and it's just like whatever. I do whatever I want.
I will tell you, you don't have enough cleavage to be Sarah Jessica Parker.
I did try to boost them. I
Oh,
don't have much.
well, you've been sitting like this, so I didn't even know.
Oh, that's true. Look, see.
Hey, April, just for the record, your brother is still watching.
Oh, I know. He's probably like mortified right now. It's just a little cleavage.
It's fun. She had lots of cleavage in that movie. I remember
I know.
being a kid
I
and
had
being
more
like,
when I actually walked around
"Look,
like this, and I boosted the girls as much as I could, so they existed for a
awesome."
moment.
All right, well, everyone.
On that note,
On that note,
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, April. I'm so sorry.
No,
I
seriously,
genuinely
I know you're gonna
panicked.
feel bad about that as you fall asleep tonight. Please don't. I'm just.
she's gonna Snapchat us later and apologize again. I know.
No. April, a lengthy apology text is headed your way at about 12:35.
And about 1:30, she's gonna snap me and go, Do
you think April's mad at me?
Mad? Do you think she's mad that I did that? You think she's mad? Oh my gosh, Brian just said it's been great fanging out.
I can't wait to go into my bedroom and disrobe.
Good night, lovely heretics. Back at you guys. We love
I'm
you
wearing
guys.
a robe.
We love. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Not people listening don't know I'm wearing a robe.
I almost like,
wanted
don't
to
want to post
clarify.
this on the podcast because they're going to be like, they're not going to get any of this stuff. They have to come watch it. So.
Yeah, but can you imagine how entertaining it would be to listen to this with no visual context?
It would be a hot mess. Like
It
right
would be
here,
so funny.
right now. All right, we love you guys. Good night. Happy Halloween.
Good
See you
night,
next
everybody.
month.